What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Our first patron question comes from Henry Wood, who asks if Dooku started dabbling in the dark side before he became Sidious's apprentice.
I think that's likely. It sounds like, according to what we know from now Dooku Jedi Lost and from Master and Apprentice, the book, that yes. He even straight up used Force Lightning while he was still training Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of Jedi, had maybe the urge, the pull to the dark side every once in a while. And once he left the Jedi Order, I'm sure he was even more pulled to it. And then teaming up with Sidious was the last straw.
Right. I mean, he had all of this interest in the prophecies and stuff, and the Jedi were already telling him that that's kind of a dangerous thing to look into, but he was doing it anyway. And I mean, Qui-Gon did that too, and he was fine. But I think that Sidious wouldn't have reached out to Dooku if he weren't already playing with the dark side. That would be quite the gamble for him to be like, hey, I know you just left the Jedi Order, and it seems like you're still on pretty good terms, but what do you think about being a Sith Lord?
Yeah.
That seems like something Sidious would not leave up to chance.
Yeah, I heard they let you keep your lightsaber.
Yeah. How do you feel about the color red?
Darth Mucky wants to know if Hondo could show up in a Disney Plus show or The Rise of Skywalker.
So I think we've answered this before, but I feel like we have new information, so I wanted to address it again since it was asked again. I think it's more and more likely. I mean...
For The Rise of Skywalker?
I mean, I would consider that to be a low chance. But a Disney Plus series, I mean, knowing that, of course, there's the animatronic, but also there is a live-action version of Hondo used for, like, recordings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they've made it
for
once.
Galaxy's Edge.
Right, for Galaxy's Edge. So they're like little video screens with Hondo on them, and that's not an animatronic, that's an actor. I mean, with how much they've been pushing Galaxy's Edge in different books and comics, and Hondo's about to be in the next Galaxy's Edge comic, like, I could see them visiting Batuu in a Disney Plus show and Hondo being there.
Sure, I mean, the fact that he's around during the time period that Galaxy's Edge takes place, which is, post Last Jedi, I think it's definitely possible for him to be in a number of stories.
And knowing how, like, he has the Falcon, he's basically working for the Resistance on a, trial basis. He's not, it's not like he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart, but
sure.
If they went to
desperate.
Batuu, if they go to Batuu in The Rise of Skywalker, which I'm like, again, they're pushing Galaxy's Edge very hard, so it's like, I wouldn't write that off. I still think it's a very low chance that they'll go to Batuu or anything, because that just feels so obviously like, you're coming to see our movie, remember we have a theme park.
Yeah.
Like, that seems a little too much. But if they were to do it, there's a very high chance that I think Hondo would appear.
Or, I've said before, I would like to see a story done on Disney Plus, live action or animated, about maybe the Jedi that Luke was training, and where they got their lightsabers was Batuu, probably. Lightsabers are us over there.
I hope not. I mean, that feels so... Whatever. That would be just so silly if we're like, let's go to a field trip to Batuu and build your first lightsaber, when it used to be like this very mystical thing. I would think that Luke would do something else for that, but who knows? It would be funny.
He's old school. He would make him work harder for it.
He's like, I had to search and search for my green lightsaber crystal. Maybe. We don't know.
No, nobody knows where you got it from.
He's like, you're not going to get to just go buy one for $12 or credits or... But back to Hondo, like, they have been including him in so much content lately that usually my argument against saying, like, having Thrawn show up in The Rise of Skywalker, it's like, no, because not that many people have seen him, but Hondo's been in so much content at this point that I'm like, he's far more likely.
Yeah.
People are starting to know who Hondo is.
Yeah, and Thrawn is like a species we've never seen live action before. His character is like so important and explaining where he came from and who he is and all that would take so much time. Hondo, it's just like, it's a pirate.
Yeah, he doesn't take much explanation. Like, he could just show up, almost like a Lando type character, where, yeah, we have a history.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's it.
Yeah, Chewie and he yell at each other and bicker, and like, I could see that happening.
Yeah. Alden Diaz asks if we think the gatherers that help guests build lightsabers at Galaxy's Edge could be related to the Guardians of the Whills.
Potentially. I mean, I think that they're probably going to have something mystical about them, like some sort of connection to the Force or the Jedi, or else they wouldn't know how to build lightsabers in the first place. You think that they're just scavengers?
I don't know. I mean, a droid helped the younglings build their lightsabers.
A Jedi droid.
Mm.
He's been there for thousands of years, and
well,
don't you speak ill of Hu Yang like that. He's an Emmy Award winner.
All right.
I mean, I think that they're probably going to have some sort of mystical connection. Like, I think that they're in like a scavenger's workshop.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all a front, that they're trying to maybe keep some sort of Jedi Order going in the background, or like keep some traditions alive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to be straight up related to the Guardians of the Whills, but I could see them being similar to them.
Yeah. See, I don't know, thinking from a Disney park perspective and the experience surrounded by it, I think that maybe it'll be more like they aren't really that special. They're going to make you feel special. They're there to help you, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you can build a lightsaber. Like,
you and these other 20 people in this room?
Yeah.
What are the odds?
I
get what you're saying.
Yeah. But like, I mean, at a Disney park, they're there to make the guests feel special, just like at the Harry Potter world when, you go and pick your wand. I don't know that they're going to be anything super special. I think they're just going to be there to guide you, and they're going to, pretend like you're special for being able to build a lightsaber.
I think that's a good point. And yeah, I don't think that maybe they can build lightsabers, but like as a connection to the Guardians of the Whills, they couldn't either. They're more like they believe in the Force, and it's kind of like the Church of the Force, what Lor San Tekka was part of. Maybe the Gatherers will be part of the Church of the Force, where they're not Force users, but they know about these traditions. They respect the Jedi. I think that they're going to have a connection in that way, not so much that we've been building lightsabers for forever, or else they would be Force wielders. And,
then they'd have an army.
Right. So I don't know that, but Jedi shouldn't be an army. They should be protectors of peace and justice. I think that as far as being connected to the Guardians of the Whills, maybe not. That's probably more for books and comics to decide and point out. For now, I'm just expecting them to be like, we know about the Force, we just can't use it. And yeah, I think you're right. They'll be like, but you can, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Their name tags, I don't think, are going to say, Pim Pam, Guardian of the Will.
Probably not, no.
Daryl Cooper wants to know if you would have kept the deleted big scene on Tatooine in the special edition of A New Hope.
Honestly, no.
Not even a little bit of it?
No. I like the idea of the scene, and then it sets up Luke and Biggs as friends, and then that comes back later. And I'm glad that they included the one on Yavin. But honestly, that scene is just not great.
But the cape.
He looks amazing. There's no doubt about that. But it's just not a very well acted scene. It feels so different from the rest of the movie. Like, Luke is even more
whiny,
goofy and whiny, and it just feels so out of place when you see it. And I don't think that any amount of post-production work would have fixed that. So no, I would have not included it.
Will on the net asks if Vader Immortal is enough to justify an Oculus Quest purchase. It is for us.
It is for us because we wanted to talk about it and tell you, and I wanted to answer this question.
Yeah.
And I would say no. It's definitely worth the $10 for the software. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have, or if you already have a VR headset, if you have an Oculus Rift or something, wait, because they already said they're going to put it out on more Oculus platforms. Maybe it'll come to the Vive at some point. We have a Vive already, and I like it a lot. I honestly like the Quest a lot. It's really cool. It's very easy to use.
If you're in the market for a new VR set and you like the additional features of the Quest, which is like the fact that it's completely
wire free.
Wire free. You don't need a computer to play stuff on it. If you're in the market for something like that, then yes.
Yeah, I would say if you don't have any VR headset and you've been interested in getting one, the Quest is a really good starting point. Because, it's so easy to use compared to the Vive, which has, like, we have sensors up in my room, and then you have to connect it to a computer, and you have all these cables coming out of the back of your head. The Quest is just so easy, and I like that. But if all you want to do is play Vader Immortal, and you're going to shell out $410 for it, and you don't think you'd play any VR games beyond that, I would say wait for a friend to get it. Honestly.
Yeah, and then just have a big party. Everybody take turns playing it.
Yeah. That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon where we left you a written response, although we might not have yet because we're at EA Play at the time that this video is coming out, so bear with us. But if you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained content like audio commentaries for the films and for the Clone Wars, and this week's episode is Senate Spy, a Padme-centric episode where she and Anakin fight and are jealous.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so you can check that out right now if you want to.
On to YouTube questions. Kylo McDonough asks if we know any of the 12 systems that Dr. Evazan has the death sentence.
I would guess that Milvain and Jedha are two of them.
I was going to say Jedha because we see him, sneaking around in Rogue One.
Yeah, he's been there making the Decraniated, which are like his worst creation. So yeah, I would say Jedha for sure. And then if you read the Dr. Aphra comics, he was being tracked by Tam Posla from Milvain. That's Tam's homeworld. So I have to imagine that that's another one of the systems. And I think those are the only two that were named. We also know that Evazan worked with Dryden Voss for a while. So he probably just like popped around on his yacht and like went on a little pleasure cruise and like did some surgeries here, some surgeries there. And
yeah, because we see one of the Decraniated in Solo.
Yep.
Working on the yacht, so I didn't think about that. Pedro Markotsis wants to know if we know anything about the battle droid OM5, who died both on Ryloth and Geonosis. Why did he die twice?
So I think maybe it was just a thing in the script, something they didn't catch. But it did make me think of Battlestar. And I think we brought this up with the battle droids before. That potentially, maybe the battle droids all have like a cloud-based service where their memories go to after they're destroyed. And then they can be re-downloaded into a new battle droid. So maybe OM5 is just not great at his job and he just keeps getting shot on different planets.
Yeah. I could see that. But then, so like, he still has the designation on his body. He doesn't get a new...
I don't know if it was painted on or not, because I'm assuming they just called him OM5.
Okay.
But in Battlestar Galactica, anytime a Cylon, be it a skin job or a raider or a Centurion, whenever they die, their consciousness, shouldn't do quotes because it is their consciousness. Yeah. That's what the show is about.
Rude.
Yeah, my bad. Their consciousness is then downloaded into a new body or starfighter, and basically they learn from all of their experiences. And like there's this one episode where they have trouble with one starfighter that I guess they've just killed a ton, but now it's so good that it's like killing them a lot.
Yeah.
So that obviously didn't happen to OM5, but theoretically I could see that happening.
Yeah. And it would make sense also because, we don't see them teaching the droids every time a new one is activated, like what the Jedi look like and, who's in charge. And
I would assume that's part of the programming.
Maybe it's part of the programming, but I don't know. Do you think they can recognize Anakin or Obi-Wan?
I bet, yeah, by this point. Or maybe, yeah, they have like a catalog of who they are. I think that's possible, but I do like the idea of droids having to go to like an orientation. here's Anakin. He's probably the one that's going to kill you.
He's the worst. Droid walks into a bar, asks if we think porgs will be in episode 9. I have to imagine yes.
I want to say yes as well. I think we're going to see at least one.
Yeah. I mean, there's the idea that they built nests in the Millennium Falcon, so there might be a couple living there, but...
And you can see that, like, at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And I think if you listen closely, I've heard you can hear them in the walls or something.
Yeah, so they're in there somewhere. But I have to imagine from a marketing standpoint, they want to keep selling porg toys, so keep putting them in stuff.
I don't think they're going to be as prominent as they were in The Last Jedi, obviously, because I don't know, we might see Octo again, but I think that Chewie will probably still have his buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, he's going to have a little friend.
Yeah. There's a Funko Pop with Chewie holding a little porg.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's going to be like 1 or 2 scenes just acknowledging that, yes, Chewie still has his little pet porg.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be all over the place like they were in episode 8.
It's like a therapy pet for him after losing Han.
Uh-huh.
Gabriel Lloyd wants to know if there were any Force-sensitive athletes in the galaxy, and if so, did they have separate leagues? Also, could aliens compete with humans?
So I do have an answer for the aliens and humans competing in sports together, which does make sense because, I mean, like, a Wookiee playing football or something is probably not fair to the humans.
Yeah.
But the Servants of the Empire books, like, it starts out as basically just a high school story, and they have high school sports. And yeah, there are humans playing with Rhodians and Twi'leks and stuff. I assume that anyone mostly humanoid and of similar size and strength could all compete with each other, and maybe there were Wookiee-specific leagues or... but as for Force-sensitive athletes... I kind of doubt it. That's a funny thought, like, to have this one dude, like, playing basketball and flipping over everyone.
Yeah.
He's untouchable.
It's like when Superman first finds out he's Superman and, like, tries to be on the football team or something.
I like that you thought about Superman. My mind went to Teen Wolf.
Well.
He's just very acrobatic and hairy.
That's true.
But I kind of doubt it because I think that once... someone was seen to be Force sensitive, they were taken into the Jedi Order. That's just the way things went. So I can't imagine that someone would make it so far and be like that talented in the Force that it was giving them a huge edge.
Yeah. And I don't imagine people would stop their use of the Force at just being a good athlete. I feel like there'd come a time where they're start moving stuff with their mind and be like, I should probably be a Jedi.
If they'll have them. I mean, if after, like, Rael Averross, they were like, we're never taking anyone over the age of 5 again. And then they took in Anakin. Yeah. And that didn't go so well.
Well, what do they do with people who are super Force sensitive if they're not going to take them as and train them as Jedi?
I mean, the idea is that they find them when they're really young.
Yeah.
And...
well, I'm sure many slip through the cracks.
Not really. I mean, I think that the implication is that, no, they find them all, and except for Anakin, because he wasn't part of the Republic, and I think at a certain point, they probably just keep an eye on people. But as for sports, I just kind of doubt that that's ever anything we're going to explore, as funny as that idea is. But I do think that maybe the Jedi have, like, their own intramurals.
Yeah.
In the Jedi Temple.
I was thinking about that too. Like, as the Jedi are trained and as they grow up, I imagine they have a soccer team.
Yeah.
Maybe some volleyball. I don't know.
Volleyball seems like it would be way too easy to cheat.
Yeah.
Just like, it's just floating here.
A moving ball.
Uh-huh. It would be hard to monitor that, but I guess it's just an honor system thing. And if you cheat, they're going to kick you out of the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
It's not what Jedi do. No, sir.
Also with the clones, like, they have those, like, testing arenas. I wonder if the Jedi have something like that are similar.
It sounds like they do.
Jonathan Hayes asks if Richard Grant's character in the Vanity Fair photo could be misleading and not revealing anything. Could he actually be a Chiss or something in the movie itself?
My gut reaction is no, absolutely not. Like, he's going to be Allegiant General Pride and nothing more. He's going to be just exactly how we see him. But it's J.J. Abrams, and he did this whole thing where he was like, no, Benedict Cumberbatch is not Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness. He was like adamant, and he made Benedict Cumberbatch full on say, no, I'm not playing Khan. And then in the movie, he's like, I'm Khan. And everyone went, okay. So knowing it's JJ, I'm like, maybe, but...
Well, we still have the whole Matt Smith thing, and if that's the case for what happened with Star Trek, then yeah, Matt Smith has come out and been like, I'm not in Star Wars. I would know if I were.
Yeah, I'm still like, I don't know what's going on with all that, but yeah, I think that JJ, at least for Richard Grant's character, I think JJ's like learned his lesson, and he's like, we're just gonna tell it like it is, and instead of denying things, we're just not gonna say much at all.
Yeah, I think they needed a First Order person to kind of be on Hux's side or team up a little bit with Hux, because I think Kylo's going to be out doing a bunch of crazy stuff and who knows what, but someone's got to be there to kind of take charge with Hux, I think, and I think he's going to be that person.
Does Hux finally have a teammate?
Maybe.
A friend?
I don't think maybe they're friends, but...
Maybe Hux is going to find a friend and they're just going to leave together and be like, this is all I ever wanted.
Yeah, he's...
someone to...
He's a follower.
Talk to me and...
So he needed someone to follow, and he just about killed Kylo, so maybe he needed a new role model.
I hope he finds it. That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below, or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.